afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. A very, very warm welcome to you. My name's Emily and I am a knitter, crocheter and very occasional sewer. Today's episode is my usual podcast, so I'll be covering any updates, any finished objects, any works in progress that I've worked on in the last week, any cast-ons and any acquisitions. Firstly, how are we all? I hope that you're all doing well, that you've been having an absolutely wonderful week so far. My week is much better this week than it was last week. Everything's been a bit of a blur, really. But I think it's the same for everybody. When you go back to work, you're trying to play catch up. And yeah, it's like chasing your tail, isn't it? And then it's going to be even more fun next month because it's a shorter month. So, yes. Anyway, the good news is that I am almost caught up with everything, which is fantastic. I am so pleased. I've been working really, really hard. I've been doing some extra hours on days that I don't normally work just to try and get myself in better stead, and I feel like that's working a lot better, which is great. I also had a lovely meeting with my business coach this morning. For those who don't know, I do see a business coach once a month. I am extremely fortunate to be able to do that, and she's kind of doubles up as a therapist in a way. We don't really talk about work very much. It's more ways to help my mind so that I can perform better when it comes to work. And honestly, I'm not sure, well, I know where I'll be without her, but I know that my life has benefited greatly from having her be there for me each month. And she's absolutely amazing. And I feel like I'm getting to the point where we're starting to tackle more and more things. And although more things are coming up, it's like they're things that I've thought that just haven't, I felt like they aren't that big of a deal, but actually they are, and they do need to be addressed. So today it was one of those things. So that was really hard. And everything she said, as always, made a lot of sense, and it's definitely something I need to tackle because it's not healthy for me. And I perhaps hadn't realised how bad it was. My apologies for being cryptic, but I understand that it's not everyone's cup of tea hearing how other people struggle with things. But yeah, there's just something in my life that I do struggle with, and it does affect a lot of things. And I think especially now, I really need to tackle it because it's not going to be good for me if I keep spiralling in that area. If that makes sense, my apologies once again for the crypticness. But, you know, I think it's important to admit that there are problems. You know, I'm quite a bubbly person. My apologies, therapy corner here once again. She does this to me. It's wonderful. She really gets me thinking. If you don't want to hear about my little therapy corner, please feel free to skip to the next section, which will be updates. The chapters are below. Please feel free to skip if you're not interested. I totally understand. It's not everyone's cup of tea. But I just want to vent. I want to be real. So yeah, there are aspects that I do struggle with. I'm not one of these people that can easily express when something is bothering me, because my business coach tells me I have a very strong be perfect driver and be strong driver, which kind of work in conjunction and mean that I don't like admitting when I'm struggling. I don't want to be a burden to anybody. I don't want to appear like I am imperfect, if you will. Although there are many imperfections about myself that I'm happy to sing about. I've got no issues with that. But there's certain things that obviously hit a bit harder and I struggle with expressing, especially to family and loved ones. It's really hard. But equally, I just wanted to say this because although I'm quite a bubbly person, I do my best to look at the bright side of life. But you know, it doesn't matter. There's always something. You know, no matter how someone presents themselves, there could be something there, and it's not for us to judge another person in terms of what could be going on up here. And I do struggle. I'm happy to admit that I do struggle, and I think that's a big thing for me to be able to say that. And I think a couple of months ago I probably would have struggled. Although I'm a massive advocate for mental health, I think it's super important, and where you have the means, obviously professional help is incredibly important. If you don't have the means, a friend, a loved one, or even just reach out to anyone you trust. It is so important, it really is. And I have definitely learned that over the last couple of months since having my business coach. And as I say, she is a business coach, but she really helps me, especially with, she works a lot with inner critic, which I'm terrible at. She tells me off for it all the time. I'm not very good. I'm not very nice to myself. But hey, I am learning the tools to get better at that, and I am so much better than I used to be. It's unreal. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know that although I am quite a bubbly person, I do struggle. There are moments where I do struggle, and everyone does. It's life, unfortunately. It's how we go through life. I would love to be someone who has no issues, but that person doesn't really exist, I don't think. Especially not for me. I think I'll always have something. It's just the way it is. But anyway, away from therapy corner, my apologies. She always does this to me. I always have these moments. But on to the first section of this podcast, and that is updates. So I do have one update, and I'm very excited because I have just finished filming my video for my 2023 wrap up. I'm so happy that it's filmed. I really am. It's been on my mind to film since obviously January started, but I just haven't had the time to sit down and plan the video and also grab what I need and then have the time to sit down and record. So that video will be with you on Saturday the 20th of January. I'm hoping to get it to you by 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, 10 a.m. BST, hopefully, or GMT? I'm not sure what we're on right now. UK time. 10 a.m. UK time, 20th January. Right, the other update is that I am still hoping to record for my 2024 plans video. That video I am struggling a little bit with because last year in 2023, when I did my plans video, I pulled out so much yarn and so many patterns that it took me ages to get set up, it took me ages to film, it took me ages to edit, and I just don't feel I have that kind, and I don't, yeah, it's really hard to explain right now, but I just don't feel that type of video is going to be beneficial. Although I really enjoyed that video and I really enjoyed, watching it to double check for the 2023 wrap-up video, what I realised was that video actually wasn't very helpful for that year because I'm happy in telling you that I had 22 planned items for 2023 that I planned in 2023 plans video. It's getting all very confusing. But that 2023 plans video, I had 22 items I planned that I wanted to make in the year of 2023, of which I only made 5. So that kind of tells you that I don't feel like that kind of video is going to be useful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rethink the video. I've got plenty of ideas because there are a number of things that I would like to touch upon in that video. And once I've reworked it, I'm going to be happy to start it out. In terms of actual plans, project plans, I am going to continue adding those at the end of my monthly wrap-up video. So every month I do the wrap-up video. I will cover everything that happened in that month. And then at the end of that video, I have a little segment where I touch upon things that I want to do in the next month or the month after that. So the coming near on couple of months. I think that is a much better way of planning the projects for me at the moment. Judging on how it was last year, it just didn't work. I have all these plans, but I just don't really, I'm rethinking it. So that video is in the making. I'm just reworking it in my head. So I will get that to you as soon as possible. Whether that will be this week or next week, I'm not 100% sure. Next week is kind of my deadline for it really, because I need to get it finished by then, because there are a couple of things happening towards the end of January that I need that video done for. So I am running out of time. So it will be with you soon, just I haven't recorded it yet. That was a long-winded way of saying that, wasn't it? gosh, I'm waffly today, my apologies. Right, on to the next section, which is my finished objects, of which I have 2 for you today. Not sure if you can guess. Place your guesses below as to what 2 projects I have finished, but I think it's pretty obvious. Let me just take a sip. Place your guesses below. Hang on. Okay, so the first finished object that I have for you this week is the absolutely wonderful, I'm making sure I've got it the right way around, which I haven't, the Trifle Wrap. I have finished it, everyone. Isn't that exciting? There we are. The Trifle Wrap is all done. There we go. Totally finished, cast off, all ends have been sewn in, and I have blocked it. It almost wasn't blocked just because the living room is full of boxes still. We're still working on a lot of the boxes. Yeah, we're basically doing a massive overhaul of the house. We are just gutting it, I think, is the general feeling that I have. We are really cutting down on the amount of stuff we have in the house. And at the minute there's a load of boxes lined up to my right that are ready to go for eBaying. But yes, that'll be done eventually. It's just they're still there as a reminder that we have to do it. But anywho, the Trifle Wrap is done, everybody. Isn't that exciting? And yes, I made room so that I could block it, was where I was going with that. But I love this project. It has been so much fun to make, and I've absolutely loved making it alongside yourselves. Well, taking you along on the journey, I should say. I love this yarn as well. This is the Zakami Yarn 2023 Advent Calendar yarn, and the Advent Calendar was called I Dream of a Journey, and it's just beautiful. I think this pattern really suits this shawl, this wrap even. Just so suits it, doesn't it? Beautiful. Just love it. I absolutely love it. It's really soft as well, really nice. So that is my first finished object. It is the Trifle Wrap by Helen Stewart using the Zakami Yarn Advent Calendar. Ooh. And I'm really pleased that I finished it in January as well, because I was getting a bit nervous that I wasn't going to be finishing it until February. But here it is, just gorgeous. Oh, look at that, it's just so beautiful. Every angle I look at it is just beautiful. I did swap a few of the colours round just to make them work a bit better for how I felt for the shawl. The wrap even. But yes, absolutely loved this project. It was just a joy to make. Absolute joy. Right, now, probably won't be a surprise, but the other finished item that I have for you this week is, hang on, I've got to grab them. My Toft Advent, at long last. I finished it. Oh, so happy. So here they are, all 3 of them. I'll show you individually now, because obviously you can't get a good idea of them that way. So here is the first one. This is the Sugar Plum Fairy. I really like her. She's lovely. So she's got this lovely tutu. The only thing I needed to finish on her was her hair. Now, when I found the black that I was going to use for her hair in my stash, I started using it and I thought, oh my gosh, it's a different dye lot, so it looks totally different, which is strange because you'd think black would be quite similar, but it wasn't. It was like a grey compared to this. And no, it wasn't charcoal. I thought initially I'd picked up charcoal, but no, I definitely picked up black, but it was just not the right colour. But I managed to find one that worked from my stash. So you can see that her hair is fully filled in now. I've tied on her bun. I've also tied the remainder of the ribbon to her bun. Her tiara is also attached to her head, and she also has the very cute little laces on her shoes. Very sweet. So she is done. Sugar Plum Fairy is done. The next one is the Mouse King. He is also done. In fact, looking at him, I think he was done the last time I showed you, but I'll show you anyway. So here he is, looking all dapper with his sword and the tail. I love that tail. And his crown. Just so cute. I love him. The only thing that I do have a bit of an issue with are his whiskers, because they're not properly attached, they're just pulled through. They do kind of come out a bit, so I'm a bit nervous about storing him away and then picking him out and there being no whiskers. I don't know. But there he is, all dapper. And then the final one was this fella. I believe he's a nutcracker. But there he is. I haven't attached the staff to him. I didn't particularly want to. And I also haven't attached his hat. I've left it loose. It's just how I feel, really. But yes, there he is. He is done. The only thing I needed to do on him were his laces on his boots, which are now done. So yeah, I'm calling those done. They are finished, and I'm so happy because that is all of my Advent projects from 2023 finished. Oh, I'm so pleased. Whew, right, I'm just gonna have another sip. I've been talking a lot today, so my throat's kind of tired. It's the best way to put it, so bear with me. My apologies, everyone. I completely skipped a section, so we're redoing. Next section is works in progress. So I have a couple of works in progress to show you, and a couple have been paused for a while, so I'm excited to get those out and show you that I am working on them again. But first, the first item that I have been working on is one that I just absolutely love. It is my bedtime knitting, or my sofa knitting, or whatever, that kind of knitting. So that is what I'm working on. This is what I'm working on, my apologies. This is what I'm working on when I'm in bed reading my book. I did notice a comment about someone saying they weren't quite sure how I do that. So in terms of reading and knitting, I think this is what you were asking. Please correct me in the comments below if I was wrong. But basically, I sit up in bed, I get a pillow to the left of me because I'm right-handed and I feel like lefted. But anyway, the logistics aren't important. So I have a pillow to one side of me, and I have a Kindle, so an Amazon Kindle. All my books, not all of my books, I have a lot of books that are physical books. I love physical books. But in terms of knitting, a Kindle I find is so much easier because it's basically a digital book. So I haven't got to hold the pages open, it's just propped in front of me. So I have that propped in front of me, and all I have to do to turn the page is just press left or right, depending on which way I want to go. So I have that to the side of me. So basically I then have my knitting, have my book, and I will knit. Because I don't need to look at my knitting, I can just read the book. And that's technically how it works. But yes, that's what I like to do when I go to bed. If I have enough energy, if I don't have enough energy, I was about to start knitting then. Just habit, I have 2 needles in my hand. It's like, let's just knit. Yes, so that's how I do it. If you would prefer to see like an image of how it works, I can always do that. Just let me know below if you are curious on how that works, and I can take a photo of how I set myself up for knitting and reading. But I do find it extremely useful because I love to read when I go to bed, and as I said, if I have enough energy, I will then knit as well, because yeah, I'm doing something as well. But it's only generally knitting that's not complicated that I can do that with, because it's knitting that I don't need to look at. But anywho, on to the projects. This is the project, as I said, that is the project that I'm working on when I read or when I watch TV. So this is the Dartmoor Sweater by Kadri. I love it. There's not a lot going on because I am still on Body Island. In fact, I think you can see here is where I got to last week. So I've done, maybe if I bring that a bit closer, there you go. I've done a couple of inches since then. So yeah, it is just growing, and I just need to keep knitting it until it reaches a certain length. So I've still got a little bit of ways to go, I think. But yeah, when it gets a certain length, what I'm going to do is I'm then going to put either a barber cord or get a longer corded needle, and just make sure that when it's actually physically on my body that it doesn't go too low or too high. I'm not going to block this one because this one is designed to be really oversized. So I'm not going to do what I did with my Pink Fizz, whereby I blocked a lot of different stages. This one I'm not too fussed in regards to the size of it. So I say, by the time I actually get to the point of wearing it, I might have something else to say, but we'll see. But this is a better way of showing you. That's where I got to, and I've done about that much. So yeah, it's ticking along slowly. But that is the Dartmoor Sweater by Kadri. Now I have pulled some products out of pause and I'm very excited to show you. So, annoyingly I don't have the pattern for that one, which is really annoying. I don't have the pattern for this one either. So we'll carry on. So I have picked up, oh there it is. I have picked up a paused whip, and one of them is oh my goodness, there is yarn everywhere. Hang on. Oh my goodness. So there's a massive love-hate relation, not love-hate, that's too strong. It's a massive, hate's too strong, like-dislike relationship. That sounds less strong, doesn't it? So there's a like-dislike relationship with this pattern. These are the Contrast Blast socks by Stephen West. These were the Mystery Knit Along socks from last year. I was really excited to do these because I'm using my own hand-dyed yarn, and these are my 1969 GT40 colourways. They are the blue and the orange. For those who perhaps know a bit more motorsporty kind of things, this colourway is inspired by the GT40 that won Le Mans in 1969, and it is also the Golf colourway. So it is the most recognisable of the liveries out there in terms of motorsport. It is such a classic, really is. So you may recognise the colours, you may not, but that's what the colours are. And yes, as you can see, I'm not very far along, but this was where I was at the last time that I showed you, which I can't remember when that was. It was quite a while ago, I will admit that. But I have managed to do that much of the foot. So I finished the gusset, I believe. Yes, I finished the decreases on the gusset, but I'm still doing some more of this cable work. Oh. Yeah, it's been a ride with these, and I just want them off the needles now because I feel like these are holding up my joy of knitting socks, which is really annoying. There are a couple of changes I made to these. I did start them, I was keeping it really well, but then I decided I did not like the pearl section here, so I changed these orange bits were supposed to be pearl sections. I changed them to knit sections because I just did not like that texture on my socks. I just didn't like it. Equally, I do not like this section here, which is the cables for the gusset. So as you're decreasing for the gusset, you're also doing cable work. Genius idea, I absolutely love it. I can't get the tension right, so it's completely destroying the sock. It just looks awful. It's really tight. Yeah, I'm not a fan, if I'm honest. But if I hold it like that, if I stretch it out, it looks lovely. And you know, I've looked at other people's projects, they look absolutely gorgeous. Such a clever design, such a really interesting idea for socks as well. But for me, this is a bit much. I love a lacework sock, so hang on. Bear with me. I love a sock like this. Whether you're going to be able to see this, I don't know. So, lacework. There's a load of lacework going on here. There's a load of textures from that lacework. There's also cabling. If I show you the back, it's different. There's cabling. These are the kind of socks that I love. I love them. I love knitting them. They're a joy. And they just look so effective and beautiful. I think they're gorgeous. But for some reason, there's just something about these socks that I find too much for me personally. These sort of socks, as I say, I love wearing, I love making. These are my kind of socks. Also, quickly, these are the Nemesia Carnival socks by Twinset & Pearl, and the yarn is by Botanical Yarn. It was part of their sock club in 2022. Sorry, I had them to hand from a previous video, so I thought I'd just show you. the kind of socks I like to knit. But I don't know whether it's because it's the colour changing that I'm struggling. I don't know, because the tension is all over the place. I just don't know what it is about these socks. I'm just not enjoying the process, and I'm not sure I'll like the final product because it just, I don't know. But I feel like I need to finish them because I wanted these as a sample for my shop. So I'm definitely going to finish one sock and then I'm going to block it and see how I feel, because I'm just not sure how this cable is going to block, if I'm honest. Let me know below actually if any of you have made these socks, the Contrast Blast socks. Let me know below how you got on with this cabling, and when you blocked it, did it block out nicely? Did it not? Because at the minute it's pulling the rest of the fabric in a strange way. I'm not sure. I just don't know. I'm just looking at it and I can't see any reason as to why it would do that, to be honest. But yeah, let me know below how you got on with the Contrast Blast socks. Yeah, it's not a process I'm enjoying, let's put it that way. But that's my plan, finish this sock and then see how I feel once it's blocked as to do the second one. I do have the second one started. I don't know what I've done with my project bag. Here it is. I have started the second one. I'm just working on the cuff because I was trying to do them both at the same time and then it all went wrong and it just, just didn't happen. But yeah, just let me know, because these are going to be a sample for my shop. So it's not like I'm going to be wearing them. It's just a nice demonstration of these two colours playing together. And I thought this design would be a great design for that, which it is. It's really good for that, but I just don't. They're not a joyful knit to me. But let me know how you got on with them. And let me know about that cable as well. Did it look a similar way to you? Did it feel quite tight? And then when you blocked it, did it just loosen up and become a lot more nice? I don't know, it just feels so tight. But let me know. And that is my second work in progress. On to my third and final work in progress. This one you will not have seen for a long time because I started this in July. You might have seen it then. No, I don't think you did. I started this in July and then I don't know what happened, but I just didn't finish it. Usual story, right? So this is the project, the Toft project that I started at the Toft workshop in July. And here it is. It's very nondescript at the minute. So this is actually the Sweet Pea by Toft. I don't believe the pattern is available yet because it was a workshop pattern. So I don't think they've made it available for purchase yet. You could only get it with the workshop. I've left the pattern over there so I can't show you, but just to give you an idea, this is the body. It's a flower monster. These are the petals. And then I've got a head here, kind of. Can you kind of get the idea with that? And then I have finished both legs. So there they are, both legs. It's going to be quite a long-legged. You kind of get the idea there. And then I've finished one arm and started the second arm. So there's one arm. Take that out of the way. So it's just basically this long tube, and on that long tube we've attached these tendrils to it. So we've got a bit of flexibility with the tendrils into how long and such like that, and where the placement, but that will be on the body like that. My apologies for all the ends just kind of dangling, but hopefully you get the idea. And then the head there and the legs. So hopefully that kind of gives you an idea. I'm really close on this now that I've started because these two arms weren't done, and yes, they are different lengths, but that's built into the pattern. These weren't started last week, so at least I've started the arms. One is finished, one is almost done, and then I think it's just a matter of sewing it all up, which terrifies me a little bit because I don't quite know how to sew this bit up here. I think I've got an idea on how to sew it up, and then obviously the head gets placed in the middle. I think I know what I'm doing, but we'll find out at the weekend. I might try and make sure that it's ready to do the weekend, but we'll see. But that is the third and final work in progress that I have worked on. So 2 of those were paused whips, and one of them is just one that's ticking over nicely. But yes, anywho, on to the next section, which is cast-ons, of which there are none, which I am happy to say, and I'm sure you're happy to hear. I have tied in a few more ends on GeoGradient, but again, it's just no point in showing you until all those ends are tied in and it's blocked. And I have not started my sweet shop blanket. I have been very well behaved. Right, on to the final section, which is acquisitions. I don't currently have any new acquisitions to show you today, but I do have 2 things that hopefully will be with me. One of them should be with me next week, I hope. I think it might be arriving tomorrow. And then the other one I don't think will arrive until early February, I think. I think that's how it's working. I'm not entirely sure. But the first one is I basically sat in on, I watched Anne from Toby Knits. I watched her live video. Was it the weekend? My apologies, Anne. My weeks and weekends just fly by. I forget where I am half the time. But I watched her most recent live. It was an absolute joy to catch her live. It's the first time I've caught one of her lives, and it was so much fun. And it was a cross stitch that she was doing and showing us. And let me tell you, I was really inspired. So thank you, Anne, once again for that. I basically have a cross stitch that has been in progress. I mean, this is no surprise to anybody, right? I have a cross stitch that my mum bought me for Christmas from Avon. Oh my gosh, how long ago was it? I was still living at home at the time, and it was before university. And I think it was before college, so it's got to be at least 20 years ago. Showing my age a little bit. But anyway, it's got to be at least 20 years old, this cross stitch. And what it is it's an Advent cross stitch. So I'm going to do my best to explain it. It's a green felt that you got, and then you got, I'm sure there was another fabric as well that you got with it. So it was the green, I think you got an is it interweaving? Oh, I haven't got it. Interfacing. Interweaving. They're probably the same. I think. I'm trying to remember because it's so long ago. And then we got strips of, I think it was 4 strips of the cross stitch fabric. And basically each of the days of Advent you had a different cross stitch to do, and it was just one small section, and it was like, I don't know, a drum, a tree, with the number backstitched, and they were basically the fronts of pockets that you would construct with this felt and this interfacing. I'm sure there was another fabric, but basically that was the idea. It was going to be a wall hanging with these cross stitch patterns on each of the pockets for an Advent. That was what it was. I started it obviously when I got it, and over the years it's just been moved from house to house in boxes. And when I was watching Anne's live, I got very excited and thought, oh my gosh, I need to find that cross stitch and actually finish it this time. But I have absolutely no idea where it is. I just don't know. I'm wondering if it's in one of these project bags in here, because I haven't looked in those. And the last time I remember seeing it, I think it was on the table in front of me. So I'll have another look on there actually. But I did look in a couple of places that I thought it should be, but it wasn't. And I am terrified that I've got rid of it. I hope I haven't, because it's beautiful and I do want to finish it. And watching Anne's live and her beautiful cross stitch, I kind of thought I need to dig that out and I need to finish it. So hopefully I will find that at some point, but that was not the acquisition. The acquisition was along those lines. It really kind of made me feel like I really want to pick up some more cross stitch and do some more cross stitch. So I have ordered some cross stitch, one of which will be a gift, and the other 2 are Halloween cross stitches. So my plan for those is I'm going to do them, and then I'm going to frame them, and then there'll be like little cross stitches that will come out every Halloween because I don't have enough Halloween decorations, so that's the plan for those. The other acquisition again is inspiration from Anne of Toby Knits. Her channel will be linked below. I highly recommend you checking her out. She is such a joy to watch. She has such amazing energy. I love watching her channel, and being able to join one of her lives, I was just over the moon. So the other inspiration that Anne has given me is quilting, because she does a lot of quilting, absolutely stunning quilting. And the one thing that she mentioned last year was, and during her Vlogmas as well, because during her Vlogmas she did show the different colourways for what I'm about to tell you about. So I have been inspired to join the Cotton Cuts Mystery Quilt Along. That's probably not what it's called. Please correct me below, Anne, please. In fact, I'll link it below as well, the Cotton Cuts website and the I think it's called Puzzle Mystery Quilt, possibly. But I was watching Anne's channel and I came across one video about her putting the most recent one together. So the way it works is you get the fabric, it's pre-cut, and I think it's, I don't even know how many months. I just got too excited and I just purchased without delving too much into it. But I think it's an 11-month thing. And you get the pre-cut fabric, and then you get instructions on how to sew together these fabrics, and then that creates a puzzle piece of your quilt. You don't necessarily know where that piece is going to go on the final quilt. You're just creating a part of the puzzle, if you will. And then the next month it's the same. You get some more fabric pre-cut and the instructions on how to piece those together. And it's only once you've got all those pieces together that you then get the final schematics of how to piece all these puzzle pieces for the quilt together. So I loved the idea of that. I searched high and low in the UK for somewhere in the UK that does a similar thing, but I couldn't find one. So I bit the bullet and I signed up to the one at Cotton Cuts because they offer free postage to the UK if you purchase it all in one go. So what should be happening, the acquisition that will be coming, is the fabric that I've chosen. So I've chosen the colourways that I would like, and what should be coming, I think at the start of February, will be all the fabric. All of that will get posted to me, all be pre-cut and everything all ready, but it's just so that it all comes in one package rather than coming each month, because if it comes each month to the UK, obviously postage is going to be phenomenal. So I opted for that, and that's going to work really well for me. However, what it does mean is that I will have all the fabric, everything in one hit. However, they will then email me the schematics for each month on a monthly basis, so nothing will get spoiled, and I just work on it as everyone else works on it. So yes, I'm really excited to take part in that. So thank you, Anne, for massively inspiring me in my acquisitions. But yeah, I ordered that I think late last year I think, and I'm super excited to do that because I've always wanted to do a quilt. I was going to start, I've made like a quilted table cover for my overlocker machine, which I really like. But I haven't done anything too adventurous. My aunt is an absolutely fantastic quilter. She does it all by hand. She is phenomenal. Goals, definitely goals. So yeah, I'm really excited to get stuck in with that, and I'm sure I will be messaging Anne if I have any problems. I'm sure I'll be fine, but oh my goodness, it's another new thing to take on in the year of 2024. But yes, so those are the two things that will be coming in the next couple of weeks, I think. So definitely one should be with me next week, and then the other one probably not till February. But I'm so excited, I wanted to tell you anyway. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there because I have waffled to the ends of the earth today. As I said at the start, whenever I have a business coach meeting, I tend to get a bit talky. So my apologies. But anyway, I will leave that there. Thank you so much for watching. As always, it means the absolute world to me. I hope you have an absolutely amazing rest of the day, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.